Greetings, everyone, and welcome back at the Chiang Shek Memorial Garden in Taipei. It's a very impressive place, and as I walk, you'll see some of this structures here in the background. As I mentioned in my last video, and I wrote about in today's vlog, is the concept of putting structure in place before you have quality, before you have depth. And again, that means that when you start something new of value, for example, for me, doing these videos, you have to know at the beginning you're not going to be very good, but you can be good at the structure part of it, meaning doing everything you have to do, doing it regularly, doing it as best as you can, and then with time, the contents fall into place. So I call it structure first, content second. So again, along those lines, that's why I'm here making this video today, because I want to get that structure in place. Now, behind me, you're going to see the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial. I guess you don't see it too well like that. I'll pat it down. I'm going to go in later, and then I'm going to be going somewhere to do a phone call, and then I'm going to dinner with someone to talk about some work things. So I was reflecting on something that I heard from Charlie Munger, who was an investor and partner in the Berkshire Hathaway fund. And he said that when a person gets to 50, about the only big and monumental thing he can do with his financial life is something stupid. And what he meant by that is that if you get to 50, well, we could take 50, as a concept, clearly in middle age. If you get to 50 and you haven't spent time working on your financial life and your retirement and your financial future, it's pretty much too late to make any monumental large changes to that. And then the only thing you could do that's really large and big and completely changing your situation, as he said, is something stupid, something on the downside. It's too late to do something massively on the upside because the probabilities are not there. These kind of things take consistent and regular work over time. And I think he's very much right. Of course, there are some outliers, and we know there are always outliers. But principally speaking, if you get to middle age and you haven't thought about your finances and your financial life and your financial future as a retiree, there really aren't that many huge things you can do. You cannot become massively financially well off. But what you can do, and he said the same thing, is you can start to make a logical and structured analysis and consolidation of where you are, and you can improve your situation a lot, as long as you don't believe or try to make it too improved, try to reach for things that aren't there. So he says that in regard to the financial life. This is something that I think very much in regard to into our personal lives, or who we are, let's say in our personal development aspects. If we get to 50 or around 50 and we haven't done anything of structure with our lives, or we've fallen far, far short of what we could have done, it's foolish to believe that monumental things on the upside are still going to happen to us. Like Charlie Munger said, you can do a lot of things, but most of these things are dumb things that you can do. So in the 2X philosophy, I say, if you get to this age, as I am now, and many people are who are watching this, if you get to this age, you can still make very positive steps and positive changes, but you'd be kind of a fool to think you can massively, massively change your lives to the upside. And of course, again, there are outliers. There are a few outliers, and they're always paraded around in front of us for what's possible. But to follow those is a foolish way of believing or thinking, I believe. So what I say is, in the 2X philosophy, there's at any time of our lives, we can do what I call 2x the life. And that is a fundamental internal change or growth path to become twice the person we are. And that is probably accomplishment enough for most people, particularly for those who haven't put a lot of effort into it earlier in life to make something more out of who they are. So this is a fundamental principle of the 2x philosophy, is that we get to certain stages in our lives, we want to achieve something more, and we have to be very modest about what we want to achieve. And we have to take it in a very logical and humble way. And, I would always say 2xing someone's life is hardly humble, because that's a massive undertaking, and it's a massive accomplishment if somebody could do it, to become twice the person he or she is. But it's attainable, and it takes us away from these, maybe damaging, maybe ridiculous beliefs in the glory that we still have ahead of us. And it takes us down to a much more grounded approach. It also saves us a lot of wasted energy. We think that, we're still going to become superheroes or something, and people in the world that are massively respected and held up as role models, even though we haven't done anything to make ourselves into that earlier in life. That we're really kidding ourselves, and we're wasting a lot of our own energy. So, wow, now it's really coming down. I'm going to run here underneath this shade here. I'll be back in a moment. Hey, I got in here underneath this covering here out of the rain. So, coming back to the message, it's like, as Charlie Munger says, if we've never done anything for our financial futures, to suddenly get to middle age or older and then say we're going to become wealthy, rich, it's kind of ridiculous. If we've never done anything really for our athletics and our health, and then we say, I've never done anything, but now I'm going to become an Ironman or something, it's pretty ridiculous. If we've never really worked on personal development and growth, and now we say I'm going to become a massive success, that's kind of ridiculous. But that shouldn't temper the idea that somebody still wants to change and grow, regardless of the age, regardless of his or her circumstances up to that time. I just say, and in the 2x philosophy, we say, take it easy and make it structured and practical. And we say with 2x, we envision what the 2x version of us would look like. When I was doing it the first time, I said, if I were twice the man I am today, how would I live? How would I think? How would I act? How would I talk? What would I do? And then I did everything to become like that person. So we can still grow. We can still become much, much better versions of who we are. We can still do great things for us and our families and for our communities. But we take away the extreme versions that are very, very improbable and can be more damaging than doing good. So I hope this helps. Coming to you from Taiwan today, a rainy day at the Chiang Shek Memorial. And what I just noticed behind me is you can see the Taipei 101, which was once the tallest building in the world or in Asia, I'm not sure. So, all right, thanks for watching. 2x Philosophy out.